All right, so it's about time I kick off this new joint. It's called the Open Minded Podcast. So, in a nutshell, this is a place where we sit down and talk about spirituality, faith, and what it really means to search for truth in the world today, right? So, what sparked this whole idea was a couple of things. One, I've always thought of these concepts in terms of college, right? You don't go to college and just study math. You study math, English, history, psychology, even. And it's that full body of information that kind of gives you a compass of how to navigate into whatever further thing you're going to go into, right? So when I look at Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, spirituality, all of these different things, my view is over time and being involved in different ones over my lifetime, they all give you different pieces that kind of add to the big picture. So I've been meaning to do the podcast, like I said, for a minute, but I've been focused on my music and my history. And then my doorbell got rang, and then some people from a local church, which is the Stronghold Baptist Church, came by to visit and to spread the word or whatever. And most people might slam the door, beat it, get out of here. I wasn't really, on them vibes because I chop it up with anybody. I know who I am and where I am, so you know, like I said, I don't have no problem going back and forth or even building or whatever the case is. So now back to what finally got me going. When they came by, we had a nice talk. We didn't debate. We just talked, about faith. I asked questions. They asked me questions, and what it means to believe and not believe. And while we may have some slight disagreements on, only through Christ can you, go to this place called heaven. Um, it was still a good discussion, right? So that's what ultimately led me to say, you know what? I have no problem chopping it up with y'all or your pastor. Matter of fact, I'd like to invite your pastor to be on an episode of the podcast where, what I mean, we can build, go back and forth, have, discussion, enlightenment, questions, all of those good things, right? And just because the message ain't for me, it might be for somebody else. And this applies to every walk of life that we plan to cover during the series of this podcast. So, with that said, there's no judgment, no preaching, just open minds and respectful dialogue. So, with that said, you know, I look forward to hopefully hitting y'all with a full length episode. If these, people from the church circle back on me, and I'll keep y'all posted. You know what I mean?